Most landlords do not lose money because the market turned on them. They lose money because they bought a property that was never really a good deal to begin with. And nobody taught them how to tell the difference. If you've ever found a property on Zillow and stared at it, wondering if the numbers actually work and how you can figure out how to buy it, then this episode is for you. By the end of this episode, you will have a simple way to look at a property and know in under 10 minutes if it's worth your time. I'm Erica Brown. I own a portfolio of rental properties and I coach landlords on how to build wealth through real estate without burning out and without burning all of your cash. This is wealth within reach. All right, y'all. So today's episode, we are talking all about how to know if a property is a good deal before you ever make an offer. Here's what I see happen all the time. Most new investors analyze properties based off of feelings, not numbers. It looks cute, the neighborhood feels good, but the price seems fair. That's not analysis. The other mistake is the opposite. Y'all are overcomplicating things way too much. You download spreadsheets with 47 tabs, and then if the numbers don't come out exactly how you think it should, you freeze. People ask me all the time, Erica, how do you keep your rental finances so organized across so many properties? And my answer is always the same, y'all. Baseline. It gives every single property its own account, so your money is always in the right place and nothing is getting mixed up, which is key. You even get virtual debit cards with spend controls, so every dollar going out is tied back to the right property. No guessing and wondering which property this transaction is coming from. Every single transaction gets tagged automatically through their AI feature, which I love, and receipts are matched for you with Baseline Smart. Y'all, my accountant loves me for this now. Trust me. Everything auto categorizes by your property, by each schedule. So next year, when tax season comes, you will be ready. There won't be any panicking or scrambling at the last minute. I can pull up any property at any time and see exactly what's going on with my money, which is key. And that is the type of clarity that you need when you're trying to scale. You're going to get real time cash flow, insights for every single rental, all in one place. So this helps me make smart moves faster and keep my properties performing the way that they should. You can go to sign up for Baseline at baseline.com/Erica Brown and grab a $100 cash bonus, y'all. The link is below. A good deal is not a vibe, and it's also not just a number. It's actually more simple than you think. Here's a filter that I use every single property before I even think about writing an offer. There are 4 numbers that you need to remember. That is it. Let's talk about that first number. That first number is what we call ARV, after repair value. Are you buying at market value or below market value? It's important to pull 3 comparable comps. So when I say comparable, I mean properties that are apples to apples. That means same age range, same condition, same bedroom, bathroom, same square footage. Apples to apples. You want to review apples to apples because you want to see once you fully renovate this property, what is the highest potential value that this property can be at? Even if you're buying something, whether it is already fully renovated or you're looking to renovate, which I typically do, I like to force appreciation. I like to buy properties that need a little work done to them, buy them, get the work done, and then increase the value. You want to know going into the deal when you are first looking at Zillow, what is the potential for this property to be worth after I make any necessary modifications that I plan to make. When you're looking to pull 3 comparable sales, you need to pull at least 3 sales in the last 6 months. Here's what I see new investors do all the time that will get you in a lot of trouble. You have a certain number in mind that you're looking at. So what do? You skip over the comparables that don't give you the number that you want to be at, and you try to go further out to be able to almost like satisfy your ego to find the number that you think it should be at. And that is not how it works. When an appraiser comes to do an appraisal on your property, in order for the bank to give you a loan, they're going to be looking at whatever is closest around it that is apples to apples. Just because you want the property to be valued at $700,000 does not mean the property is truly valued at $700,000. Later on in the episode, I am going to tell you how to determine what a property is truly worth. And it's not what you think. When looking at comparables, you want to look at homes that are as close to the property that you're looking at as possible. We're not looking at homes that are currently listed for sale or listed for rent yet. We're looking at properties that have sold. That means that a buyer has agreed to close on this property and the deal is done. Actually sold. Those are true comparables that you want to look at while you're in your bed at night on Zillow, okay? Before you call your agent and try to schedule a showing. If you are paying full asking price in this market, then you better have a really good reason. Why do I say that? Because you make your money when you buy, not when you sell. And this is a perfect time to make money when you buy. The second number you need to be aware of when you're analyzing for rental properties is the number that the property can rent for. Do not use what the seller tells you. Do not use what the seller thinks that you can increase the rent for. You need to know the actual numbers that properties nearby are renting for recently. I hate when I'm working with someone and they're like, okay, the property is currently rented. It's a triplex. They're being rented for $750 each. And the seller says that I can increase the rent to $1,000. If that was the case, why didn't the seller increase the rent to $1,000? Think about that. Also, don't just use the Zestimate or the estimate that Zillow tells you. Go check what similar units are actually renting for right now in the zip code and in the immediate neighborhood. There's tons of tools like Rental Meter or even ChatGPT and Claude that can provide these comps for you. You can also call a property manager in the area and ask them as well. If the rent barely covers the mortgage, that is not a good deal. That is a job. You think you're buying an asset, but you're actually buying a liability. Let me pause for a second. When you're buying a property, this is one of the most fun parts of real estate investing. This is why HGTV have made probably millions of dollars off the show House Hunters because you guys love this process. You love going to open houses. You love looking at houses. That is such a small part of the process. But guess what? This is one of the most important parts of the process. A person that leans to looking at the glass half full, then you'll tend to be more ambitious with your comps and your rental numbers. But also, if you're a person who tends to look at the glass half full, then you may be too conservative and maybe actually talk yourself out of deals more than you actually should. This is why it's important to have a mentor, have a community of people around you that are able to check your numbers and say, hey, am I missing something? I analyzed this information about this deal. Are you seeing the same thing? Am I missing something? This is why it's important to not have to carry this process alone, because whether you are just out there just blindly being impulsive or you're talking yourself out of everything, being surrounded in community can help you actually move faster and find your next deal. This part of the process is also so important because what happens is what had happened was y'all are buying properties off of looking at the mortgage and the down payment and like, cool. All right. I think I can rent it for $2,000 a month. The mortgage is $1,500. Bet we're good. No, you are not. That is not how you analyze a deal. Okay. Oftentimes y'all end up coming to me afterwards because you realize that you haven't made any money because the spreadsheet doesn't match what you thought it was supposed to be when you first analyzed the deal. Or you may even feel like, oh, okay, it's cool. I'm working with a real estate agent and they can underwrite the deals for me. At the end of the day, after you close on the property and the real estate agent leaves with their commission, you are paying the mortgage every month. Okay. So it's up to you to understand how to factor these important numbers so that you know if this is a good deal or not, sooner rather than later. Third number is your true monthly expenses, y'all. New landlords forget everything except the mortgage payment. Your real expenses are not just the mortgage payment. They're the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, property management fees, vacancy, maintenance, and the capital expenses. A simple rule of thumb is this: plan for 40 to 50% of your rent to go to expenses before you even touch a dollar. You do not build that into your numbers on paper. You will pay for it in real life. The fourth number is cash flow and cash on cash return. Cash flow is what is left every month after you pay every single expense. Cash on cash return is what your money is actually earning compared to what you put in. You want to see positive cash flow and a return that makes sense for the work you are putting in. And that does take time. Okay. If that number is small and you have no margin and your tenant leaves and the roof goes out, what's happening? You're having to go into your personal account. And I see this happening all of the time. One of the biggest mistakes I see is that people run these numbers after they've already fallen in love with the property. But by then, your brain is looking for every single reason to help you make the deal work. You've been looking for a long time. You finally found the deal. You finally found a seller that's willing to work with you. You finally got approved for a mortgage and you are convinced that this is the deal and you have so many blind spots. And I see that happen all the time. And if you do that enough, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. By this time, your brain is looking for reasons to make it work instead of reasons to walk away. Run the numbers first, fall in love second, or do not fall in love at all because at the end of the day, this is a business. If the deal does not work on paper, no amount of fixing and hoping and praying is going to make it work. Walking away from a bad deal is not losing, it's actually winning. So let me bring all of this home, okay? Four numbers: your purchase price, your after repair value, real rent, real expenses, real cash flow. That's it. If the deal works on all four, then keep going. If it doesn't, walk away and go look for another one. I work with clients every single day to think through these strategies. You don't have to do this alone. If you're looking for a mentor that can walk you through the entire process so that you're not trying to figure this out alone, and you're looking to take this seriously and you're ready to fast track the process and stop wasting time researching and thinking, then you got to go to the link below. I love to hop on a call with you and see how I can help you. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe, share this with a friend, and let me know below, what was your biggest takeaway? What did you miss before? And what did you learn from this episode? All right, see you next time.